Well, hello everybody. I am so excited. I'm just bursting with excitement here because I have Geralin Thomas here and we're going to be talking about the cost of clutter. But before we do that, see, first of all, I know you've probably heard her bio because I read all that, but there's a couple things. She's been on NBC Today, CNN, two books, 13 languages, and then she's Wikipedia. See, if you pull up her name, Wikipedia with her beautiful picture, and it says American Organizing Consultant. But before we get into the cost of clutter, Geraldine, I just want to ask a question because you are on A&E Hoarders. And when you go into those situations, and of course, this is a question I want to ask you because personally, I want to know, how do you not get overwhelmed? Because so many people, it's the beginning of the year, they're tackling their stuff, but how do you not get overwhelmed when you see all of that stuff?
I do exactly what you do. I watch you enough on YouTube. I've listened to enough of your podcast. I kind of frame it as the three P's. So I
Hmm.
plan, I pace myself, and I try to partner with others who are doing the same thing. So, plan to set yourself up for success. Um, on the show Hoarders, we did harm reduction targets, meaning do no harm. And we, you know, knowing we'd visit again or someone would be there to take up, what we couldn't finish, that was helpful. So plan, pace. You can't get it all done in a day, especially, I listen to you on YouTube on your shorts talking about cleaning up your desk and you have your systems behind you in the bookcase. It's the same thing. It's just on a bigger scale. We're not cleaning a desk. It's usually an entire home. And then partner, you do this all the time. We reach out to other organizers for help, to mental health practitioners. I heard you speaking with Tiffany probably a couple months ago by now, but she talked about working with families and how it's step by step, and I thought that was really interesting. It's the same, and honestly, there's a comfort level being on TV. Working with professionals and being on TV, because I know that people in hoarding situations, we don't have to exceed a set of expectations like regular old everyday organizers do, right? That's the goal, is we want to exceed our clients' expectations. But when we're working with people with mental health disorders, we're just trying to meet those expectations so that healthcare workers can get in and out. Fire codes are, met, that kind of stuff. So it's not like we're going above and beyond. We just want to meet the level of expectations. So three P's and meet the level.
Wow. So now let's talk about the cost of clutter.
Ooh.
What is the, I know. What is the cost of clutter, Geraldine?
Well, I think people feel like they lose control,
Hmm.
lose, there's less focus. People's moods suffer. Sleep, we know factually people don't sleep as well in these homes. And financially, that's really, where a lot of people take the biggest hit. So, we can help boost your energy. We can, cleaning your kitchen leads to better eating habits for a lot of people. And of course, having less stuff to take care of, less dust, less mold, less mildew, insects, rodents, trash, waste, less spending, better sleep. I mean, I could go on and on, right? But financial is where a lot of us, where that hits home.
Hmm. And it's interesting how you say the sleep, because you never think of the cost of clutter. When you think of the cost, you think of go dollar signs, but it's sleep. Because a lot of people, I'll see their bedrooms, and I'm like, "Are you sleeping good?" No, not really. Then I think you need to tackle that first, because if you tackle that first, then maybe you'll have the energy to
Right.
tackle all of the other places. And plus, just deal with life. So I'm glad you mentioned that sleep is the cost of clutter, because everybody's thinking dollar signs and all the stuff they're spending and all the stuff that's in the house. So what are some ways that we could, really be more organized, but also save money? So really that cost of clutter doesn't impact us in this new year, especially when people are really looking at their finances.
Right. Okay. So number one suggestion is to stop scrolling. Lots of sales are made because of what people see on social media, right? The companies make money with targeted advertising. So they're so smart. Artificial intelligence has us figured out. Number two, I would say shop with a list. Seems so simple, but we all joke about when we go into a place like Target, we go in for toothpaste and, something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You come out with a big red cart full of stuff. Return things by the deadline. You've been in enough people's homes, right? They
Oh yeah.
shop,
Mm-hmm.
they buy stuff online. There's a
Mm-hmm.
return deadline for a refund, and they
Mm-hmm.
just don't get around to do it. And that, to me, is a procrastination problem. And I'm sure you have this in your own business, but I think once we become more aware of our procrastination tendencies, it's helpful. And for my line of business, when I was working with people with hoarding disorder, that brings up storage units, right? About 10% of Americans, 13.5 million households rent storage units. And a lot of them rent these units because they can't make a decision on what to do with their stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're so right. And it's interesting when you said the list, I thought about my mom. She would always have a grocery list. I mean, she was so organized that you could look at her list and just kind of go up and down the aisles because she had like a little method to it, but it really works because then you're not distracted by everything. But you're right about the scrolling. I mean, I'm guilty of that. I'll look for something that I need, and then all of a sudden, I guess with the algorithms or whatever, everything starts popping up but you're right that scrolling. Oh my goodness. And then storage, it's bad enough when you have one, but then when you got two or more and it's stuff in there, because Geraldine, it's like, what is the statistic? 80% of the stuff we keep, we never reference again.
And I love to point out to people, okay, you've had this, let's just say, I think the most common size is 10 by 10. On average, of course, in bigger cities, it's going to be more expensive. But on average, let's just say it's $100 a month for your storage unit, climate controlled, not climate controlled, whatever. But times 12 months, right? $100 times 2 or 3 years if you took that money and invested it, with something that made sense, got a little interest, that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money, and I don't think people realize that. But like you said, they are procrastinating because they don't want to deal with it. Out of sight, out of mind. It's easier for them just to kind of pay the bill every single month.
Exactly.
Wow, Geraldine, you get some great tips.
I learned a lot from you, my friend.
So how do you stay organized? Because I know you are, you're writing and you're guesting on podcasts, and then you also teach other people who want to become organizers how to start the business. And of course, you've got your family and everything. How do you stay organized?
I'm just like your mom. Step number 1 is I am a list lover. Janet, I have a list of my lists. So I'm a firm believer. So that's one way. Number 2 is I use a timer, and it's not a traditional timer. I'd love for your listeners, maybe this will resonate. A timer to me is kind of like a good thing for some people. It's not my favorite. So I play these little games with myself. Oh, I'm going to microwave a sweet potato. That's 6 minutes. I'm going to do everything I can while that thing is cooking, or while your coffee brews, or I'm going to unload the dishwasher while a piece of toast is toasting. Notice all these food things. What's wrong with me? Clothes in the dryer. Maybe you're going to just keep working until that dryer dings or buzzes or whatever your dryer does. So that's another way. I love this thing that I came up with a few years ago called Trash Eve. And you've heard of Christmas Eve.
I think I know what Trash Eve is.
Go for it, my friend. Go for it. Now, I do all the things on Trash Eve to kind of prep. Right. And it's just a little system. Instead of stopping what I'm doing 500 times a week and getting distracted, I just say to myself, that's going to be the night before the trash gets picked up. I'm going to run around the house like a mad woman. I'm going to fill my bird feeders. I'm going to wash all my trash cans. I'm going to do this. Whatever your jam is when it comes to tidying up, that's my day to do it.
I love Trash Eve because my Trash Eve usually is once I grab all the trash and move it out the kitchen and everything, then I mop. I do the mopping. I do the kitchen cleaning. So that's off of my list. I love that. I love Trash Eve, people. Trash Eve.
Trash Eve. Let's celebrate. I have a few more if you want a few more.
Sure. Of
Okay.
course. From you. Yes. Nuggets.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I do the do not disturb mode. So if
Okay.
I can put a sign on my front door, I think like you work from my home. So, everybody thinks it's a free for all. Well, I can stop in and she'll be home. I'm working, people. I'm working. So I put a sign on my door, do not disturb. I'm on a conference call. I put my phone in do not disturb mode. And it's really an easier way than telling somebody I'm busy and can't deal with you right now. I'll deal with that tomorrow, because sometimes people get offended, right? But
That's true.
if they're buzzing you on your phone and they get that do not disturb message, it's like, focus time.
That is a good idea. I'm going to put that down. Do not disturb.
um, and another way, like with clothing and stuff, I try to be really mindful about, is this serving the present version of me, not the aspirational version, meaning I'm going to wear that when I'm a size whatever. It's got to be right here, right now. It fits, it feels good, it does what I need it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Or, we're in people's homes and they have, let's say, I'll just pick on baking people. I've got all this cake baking stuff. Well, when's the last time you made a cake? I've never actually learned to bake, but I'm like, okay, how long has this been hanging out here? So that's what I call the aspirational version.
I like those tips. Yeah, those are good because that'll help people purge in the new year.
Yeah. And of course, Janet, there are times when priorities change throughout the day and I have to reassess my own goals. So I'm not perfect, but some days I don't get everything done that I'd hoped to get done. And I've learned that it's okay to start fresh the next day, to reboot. It's all about having a positive attitude, right? And learning to adapt to unexpected changes, because life is full of them.
That is so true. That is so true. Wow. Geralin, those were nuggets. I wrote some of them down.
Good.
So, and of course, I can always listen to this podcast again. So, Geralin, how can people connect with you?
Well, I'm pretty easy to find. As you notice online, they can put in my weird name, Geralin Thomas, and it's gonna lead you somewhere. Or come on over to metropolitanorganizing.com. And if you can spell that, congratulations, But there I offer lots of freebies for people who need help or want help. I have checklists for preparing for the holidays. Everything's free. You don't need to sign up for any of that stuff. So help yourself to the quizzes and checklists and all that good stuff.
And of course, I will have a direct link to Geralin's website below. So, Geralin, thank you so much for joining us in this new year.
Yeah, my pleasure, Janet. Always fun to hang out with you.